Hey guys, and welcome to the second chapter of this course. In this chapter, I'm planning to make some texture for this monster and monster cage. So let's get started. Let me go to, first of all, let me arrange some of these panels. So texture set list goes up there. We don't need to see all of that. Oh, and close all the UV tiles. So all the way down to the, what's the last? Oh, wow. There's a lot of material. So we need that because we need to solo them out. Just like so. All right, now let me push this one up a little bit. And the texture set list, we don't need to see that more often. So let me grab and put it here. And as you can see, I assigned the, where's it, the normal map, not for this one. So let me go to another one. Yeah, I assigned the normal. And based on that normal, I baked out other maps. So now we have world space normal, ID map based on mesh ID or polygroup. If you are exporting your mesh out of ZBrush, you have polygroup assigned probably. So Subpainter can make the ID map based on your polygroup, and you have your color generator, hue shift. I prefer hue shift, and yeah, that's that. I made world space normal ID ambient occlusion. We might bake ambient occlusion for certain areas again, maybe for the hair or head. Let me go and unhide the hair. As you can see, we have some shadow going on on her face because of the hair mesh. And for this one, let me go to the head, solo that. Oh, that's not the head. Girl body, I guess. Where is it? Here, girl body. Yeah. Now, in here, I'm gonna bake the mesh again, bake the ambient occlusion again, but not right now. Maybe in next chapter or so. So, yeah. Show all. All right. As I was saying, I have ID ambient occlusion curvature based on normal map and position thickness. All right, that's all. So let's find out where is the monster cage. Monster cage here. Let's select the monster cage material and solo that out. Now we have our monster cage isolated. All right. Delete the base layer and also let me reposition the property here. Yeah, it's getting busy. All right. All right. I wanted to make some wood material for this planks, almost planks. All right. Now, to do that, we need to isolate that first. Create a folder. You have two options for isolating something with a UDIM. Let me switch to UV view, and all the way up we have our cage, and also, as I'm not mistaken, yeah, those are the ropes here. I guess from this tile all the way to the end maybe. And those are our planks. So yeah, let's switch back to 3D view, and let's isolate them. You have two options, as I said. One of them is UV tile masking, geometry mask. If you click on this icon, that goes you to geometry mask, and you can exclude all. My drop down menu open up to other screen for some reason, so I just clicked on exclude all. So when you open up that, let me move that. Yeah, it's still opening in other screen. So all right, just click on exclude all, and if you hover over the tiles, you can select them, and with this method we successfully isolated the planks. And let me move that up, and if I grab a test material and drag and drop it inside this folder, as you can see, we have wood material and the surface of the planks only. All right, now that was one way. So let me include all this time. Select the folder and go to mask, black mask. The drop down for black mask also opens up on other screens. So just click black mask, add black mask, and inside black mask, just go to left section toolbar and select the polygon mask, then mesh fill, and select them one by one. If I go to this mask, hold Alt and click on that, as you can see, we are selecting the planks only. So, and this is one way. So let's go with a masking. All right, now let's see. Let's call that blank. All right, and create a base material or a base fill layer. This base fill layer, let me call that base also. This is going to act as our base height, our base opacity, our base roughness, not base color. So I'm gonna just keep the roughness and height for this particular model, and disable the other channels. By default, the height sets to 0. That's what we want. We want to have a height 0 and also roughness of 1. And that's going to make the planks all the way rough. If I grab another base layer or fill layer and make that shiny or roughness of 0, and hold shift rotate the light with right click, as you can see, we have glassiness all over the place except the planks, because we set the base to the 1. All right, now let's delete this one. We don't need that. All right, next we need to make some height value for our wood. And how we can do that? By clicking on the mesh fill layer or new fill layer, create a fill layer. Let's call that I don't know, height with a number, maybe height 0, 1. All right. Now let's hold Alt, click on height to disable all the channels except height. So add a little bit of positive or negative height. We are doing a guessing game for now. So for this height, let's create another black mask. All right. Now go to Asset Browser and Textures. And let's find out some nice wood grunge. Just type wood and it's going to show up right there. Maybe this one is looking good. So select your mask. It's gonna be selected by default after making mask. So go to this magic wand and create a fill layer. Yeah, this fill layer also opens up my other screen. So just clicking on or selecting the fill layer. So open up this magic wand, select fill, and fill contains some settings for UV or projection, and also tiling, rotation, offset, and other fill related options. And in the bottom, at the bottom, we have grayscale and grayscale value. So let's grab and drag and drop this grayscale, put it in here. And as you can see, we have some normal or height value going on at the surface. The orientation is wrong, so we need to rotate that by 90 degrees. Here, rotation, just put 90 and it's rotated. Yep, and looking good. For some reason, if you want to repeat that, you have two options. For some grunge maps, you have tiling amount also available for you here, the option. Remember, the grunge maps, all the grunge maps that ships with Substance to the painter are the Substance material. And they have some options exposed for you. So you have tiling amount for this one. So you can tile that down here. Or if you don't have that tiling option available, go up and in tiling, just type some numbers, maybe 2, 3, or play with the slider. So 1 is good. But 2 on this tile, I guess. I don't like this pattern, this empty area, so let's move this material or this grunge by going up in filling options and playing with offset here. As you can see, we're rotating the material or offsetting the material, not in this direction, so let's zero that out. All right, this should be good. Yeah, it's here. So let's rotate that to get rid of that empty areas. All right, not too bad. Let's keep it that way for now. And let's see the negative one or a positive one, which one is better. So yeah, the negative. All right, now we need to pass this grunge map through our material to be able to use that for coloring or making roughness for just this area or just this map. All right, how we do that? With the anchor point. We need to create an anchor for this particular grunge wood and pass that through our material. So select your grunge or select your mask, doesn't matter, and open up this magic wand. At the end we have add anchor point, and by default anchor point name is going to be your mask name here, height 1 mask. You can change that to whatever you want. So close that up by selecting the material. So now we need to have another ground on top. So just duplicate this one by hitting Ctrl D on your keyboard and change the name to height 02, for example. So let's go to mask, delete the anchor point, keep the grunge. We are not going to use this grunge, but this is a fill layer still. So just reset some of the settings, like this 90 degree and this offset, and you should be good to go. So we're going to replace this grunge wood. So let me find another grunge map that suits this cage wood. So let's browse a little bit. Maybe something like sure, maybe this one. Drag and drop it, and it's going to be replaced. Oh, we need the 90 degree, so let's see that isolated. All right, looking good. Maybe that's not bad, I guess. Let's go to our fill layer, and this time add a positive height. And yeah, that's good, but I don't like this little dots. So let me find another one, something like this. Go to mask and your fill layer. Now calls a grunge map 002. So drag and drop another one. Yeah, that's not a good idea to use. So, oh, what about this one? That's looking good. And with a little bit of filtering and adding some maybe slope blurs, it might work. So maybe drop the contrast for this grunge and add a little bit of more height. All right, it's looking good. A little bit less contrasty. All right, now select your grunge map, go to magic wand and add a filter, empty filter, and open up the filter. It's opening up on the other screen, so I'm gonna drag and drop the filter from asset browser. So let me find a slope blur, or blur slope. Drag and drop it here, and it's going to break the edge of the grunge pattern. So let's change the intensity divider to maybe 100. Add a little bit more intensity, and yeah, that's good. Let's unhide the height 1. And that's a good looking wood. And also you have control over your height value whatever you want. So maybe let me go to grunge map, maybe add a little bit more tiling, maybe 2. All right, that's better. Yes, good. So yep, that's our height, base height. So let's continue in the next video and make some color for this height value. See ya. All right, let's continue. We made our height values, so let's use them and add some color. So for the top height 2, let's add a where is it, the anchor point again, and it's going to be called height 2 mask. So that's good. Let's add another fill layer. Maybe let's call this base color. All right, so base color, that's right. And hold Alt and click on color channel. So now we have color channel only. For this color channel, it's going to be act as our base wood color. So let me grab my eyedrop and sample from the concept a darker color. So yeah, they're looking good. Rotate the lights. All right, that's good. Now let's add another base color or a fill layer, or just duplicate that, because we are need the base color for this one only. So let's call that color 01, and that's going to respond to this height 1. So let's add a black mask and summon that anchor point that we just created for our height 1. So select your mask for color layer, add a fill layer to that mask, and in here, instead of drag and dropping the grunge map or grayscale value, let's click on grayscale, go to second tab that calls anchor point, and look for your anchor point here, height 1. Select that, and let's go back to our color and choose a different color. Let me sample that color as well. So click on eyedrop and maybe a lighter color, something like that. And as you can see, we are created color for, hold Alt and click, for this particular grunge map. So now the beauty of using grunge map is, if I go back to my mask for height and change the grunge map values, or maybe replace that, the color is going to change as well. So let me tile that several times here. As you can see, we are changing the color on the fly. So that's almost procedurally. So not like the Substance 3D Designer, but close enough. All right. Now let's add color for this height 2 as well. So hit Ctrl D on this mask. Let's change the name to color 02. Just go to mask and that fill layer and change the anchor point. That easy. All right, now let's capture another color from delete the concept. I don't like that. Let's change the color here, maybe brownish, yellowish. I don't know, maybe. I'm not sure. Let me go a little bit darker. All right. Let's keep it that way for now. Let's go to color 1 and change that a little bit. Yeah, that looking good. And also the base color, it's a little bit too dark, so change that color as well. All right, that's good. That's acceptable for now for the base wood. All right. Now let's go back to height 2. I wanted to have a little bit more of the height and a little bit more height on height 1 as well. So let's drop that more. And if I go to my shader setting, you can grab this menu and put it wherever you want. And if I close that, it's going to appears the original position. So if I go here, let me disable the color so we can see more clearly. If I go to shader setting all the way down to the displacement and tessellation, it's going to look at the height source. As you can see, in these two channels, we have a height channel enabled, and it's going to use that as a displacement. And also, we have some subdivision enabled for us, uniform or edge length. The edge length is a little bit more manageable for PC. So now we have some displacement that we are going to use inside Maya for rendering. And Substance Painter, it's notorious for having not good geometry displacement, so don't mind this breaking up. So looking good. It's going to be dramatic looking wood. So let's disable the displacement. Oh, first of all, zero that out, reset the values, and disable that, close the displacement. All right, now let's go back to our coloring. So after this third color, we need to add a filter to change the overall color. So you have two options for adding, for example, HSL filter for changing the colors, or HSV. One way is to add the filter directly to your layer, color layer here. If I go to select the fill layer first, and if I go to magic wand and select the filter, add filter of here, HSL, and change the value. As you can see, I'm changing the overall value of this layer. All right. But I want to change the color value or changing overall value for this 3 channel at the same time. So for this matter, you need to go to your asset browser, filter, and drag and drop your filter on top of your colors. All right, now let's drop the saturation a little bit. change the hue or make it darker or lighter. All right, that's not looking bad. This one is a little bit too light, so let's make that a bit darker and here, brownish, more brownish. All right, that's good. And this is a different. If I hide and unhide the HSL, as you can see, we changed the colors of all 3 layers. I'm still trying to find the perfect spot. Yeah, that's not bad. All right. On top of the HSL, I'm gonna add another fill layer. Now we're adding the effects on top of the colors. So let's hold Alt and click on color to disable all the channels and add a black mask. Then add a fill layer to that mask. All right, now let's go back to our textures tab inside asset browser. So let me find a good spotty thing grunge map. So let's find maybe this one or this one. It's not bad looking, so drag and drop it inside gray, and as you can see the direction is off, so let's go to the rotation and put 90 degree. All right, maybe a little bit more tiling. All right, and you can control the balance as well. And also you have option to enable the height for any layers and add a little bit of height to that area. Just like that. Oh, that's too much. All right, for now, I'm not gonna add height, so just playing with colors. So let's change the color to something greenish, maybe a little bit more green and lighter around here. All right, that's good. I wanted to let me change this to green. Green spots. All right, I wanted green to be on top, so let's create another layer based on green, or duplicate the green and put it below the green. Change that to I don't know what, so let's keep it that way for now. And let me capture another color, maybe something purpley, and change the grunge. So let's click on grunge, cracked, deep, whatever, and find another grunge. Let me find that. Maybe something like maybe something like this one. All right, drag, drop, and replace that. And let's play with the balance, because I wanted this purple to be in some places not covering all the wood. So it's good. I'm not happy with this height here. So I might replace these areas or paint over this thickness of the planks. So let's see. This one needs to be a spot, but not green. It's going to be purple spot. Yeah. All right. That's looking good. Now it needs to have a little bit of edge color. So on top of the green spots, or maybe below the green still. Yeah, below the green, create another fill layer. Same deal. Alt, click on color channel to disable other channels. And maybe call this edge for now. So now let's add a black mask to hide everything. And in this one, I have two options to detect the edges. One of them would be using the fill layer and look for my curvature baked. All right, that's a lot of curvature. So let's find the. Let's look for monster cage. Yeah, that's better. Monster cage curvature. Click on that. And it's inverted and needs to be edited. So on top of your fill layer, add a level. In here, you have control over some auto level or invert or clamp or other stuff. So let's invert that. Oh, that was not inverted. So let's just play with the level to find our edges. And something like that. All right, let's make it stronger. All right, now it needs to be brick a little bit. So let's add another filter. In here, let's find blur slope, and it's going to break down the curvature. So maybe blending mode now. Intensity divider of 10 and a little bit of intensity. Yeah, that will do. So let's go back to our curvature material or edge material and change the color to something. Maybe didn't capture that from concept. Yeah, something like this. And also we are in base color channel here on top of the layers, and we have control over blending mode of colors. So let's click and open and close that and move the using arrows, move between or cycle between blending modes. So I'm thinking linear dodge add. Yeah, that's good. Now let's drop the opacity for that. So below the blending mode, you have control over the opacity. So drop that a little bit. And also, as you may remember, we have control over height on each channel. So if I enable the height channel, drop that I can break the edges as well. I like that. That's looking good, and it's going to be looking even better in Maya and render time. So that's looking really nice. I like that. Let's go back to green one, enable the height, and add a little bit of positive height, just a little bit. Nothing crazy. And let's look at the height of everything that we just created by going to this drop down and find the height channel, or just hit C on your keyboard. That's our masks, all the masks. That's our base color. I'm just cycling through by hitting C every time. And this is our height. As you can see, we have some darker areas. That means it's going to curve inward, and some white places, and that's going to be outward. All right. Let's go back to material, or just hit M. All right. We are almost done with the cage. I'm going to add material to this inner part and add a little bit of maybe ambient occlusion dirt on top in the next video. So see ya. All right, let's continue. In this lecture, let's go and add material to this inner part. But first, let me add an S to the plank. And before we're going to make material for this inner part, I'm not sure. I wanted to add a dirt based on ambient occlusion, but I think it's better to add that on top of this too. So I changed my mind. Let's create a new folder and change the name to, for example, inner of wood. All right. Planks, inner wood. Yeah. All right. Now, inside this folder, first of all, we need to make a mask, just like we did with the planks. So select the where is it? The folder, and add a black mask and polygon fill, mesh fill, and zoom. Select the mesh fill. Let's check that by holding Alt and click on foot. All right, that's not selected, so let's select that again. And yeah, here. For this inner part, I'm gonna keep it simple, so I'm not gonna do this anchor pointy thing. So I'm just gonna keep the height and color at the same time in one fill layer or one material. So create a fill layer. Let's call that base. All right. Let's see. Let's change the color to something darker and make that rough. All right. And for the height channel, let's find a almost woody thing. Maybe this plaster is not looking bad. It's chipped out, so let's drag and drop that on height channel and maybe rotate that by 90 degrees. And the UV is not the best quality, so yeah, let's check that out. 90 degree was a mistake, so let's find something with the strips or something directional. So here maybe, yeah, replace that, and let's tile that a couple of times. Alright, let's head back to our 3D view. Alright, now the height is really high, and we don't have any control over the height, just like we had in height layers down here. But we can still change the height value by using mask or level. Just select your color, material, base, fill layer, whatever you add the height, and wherever you add the height. So now I can add a level and target the height value only. Alright, now if I change the slider, as you can see, I can control the height value still. Or just add a filter, select something like here, height, adjust, and it's going to automatically disable all the channels except height. So now we have control over height offset and multiplying the height or intensity of height. All right, make it to be something like this. And I'm still not happy with the grunge, so let's choose another grunge. Painters froze. All right, that was a glitch in Matrix. So drag and drop the height. Let's check that in 2D view or UV view. Let me change the projection this time to something like cylindrical. Let's go back to 3D view. And as you can see, we have a gizmo of cylinder. So for some reason, I just opened up the Substance 3D Designer in other screen. I don't know how. All right. Let's play with the gizmo by using this controllers up here. I'm gonna rotate that and rotate in this direction. Move that down a little bit and also scale it down in all directions. And move. Let me zoom. All right. This is much better at the edges. All right. Let's position that almost correctly. And we are repeating the UV wrap. So as you can see, it says to repeat. So if I move the gizmo off places, it's still affecting the material. And if for some reason you don't want to repeat the material, just make sure the gizmo covering the mesh all the way. All right, that's good. So let's go back to UV view and change the height value. you still have control over the rotation, overall rotation. So let's hit 90 degree. All right, switch back to 3D view. Not sure. It's not that good. Maybe this one. Yeah, this is much neutral looking. Almost wood. So let's go back to 3D view and change the color to something lighter. Or different. All right, it's good. Now let's go and add another color on top. Maybe, I don't know, color 02. All right. Add a black mask and a fill layer just like before. So I wanted to have the, where is it? The cylindrical projection still for this layer. So I'm gonna just delete that and hit Ctrl D for this one as well. So let's call that color 02. All right. Height adjust is good. We might need that. So let's go to the cylindrical shape. Oh no, we don't need that. So let's delete, hit color, change my mind, color 02 here. All right, now let's add black mask and fill layer to that black mask, and let's find something like maybe maybe something like this, and change the balance. All right, and in the color material fill layer, whatever you call it, in the base color channel, just add multiply or change the not multiply, linear touch add for the blending mode, and let's change the color. Something yellowish. All right, now let's make this darker a little bit. All right, it's good. Make that all the way rough. And now on top of everything, before adding a or dirt, let me borrow this edge, Ctrl C to copy that, and Ctrl V to paste that on top. And as you can see, it's going to be act as we expected. So I find out how I opened up the Substance Designer, my menu in other screen, my Windows taskbar, it's up there, exactly here. Look at my mouse cursor, and I just opened up the ZBrush. Let's close that up. All right, now let's switch back to 2D view. Go to edge, and this level that we just created for controlling the edge value. So let's make the edge a little bit stronger for this one. Right, not too bad. Close this two folder up and let's add a fill layer on top of those two folders. So let's call that dirt, but not dirt. Dirt. All right. We need to have our color, so Alt click on color channel and roughness. Make it almost rough. All right. Select a black mask and add the black mask to the AO dirt and add a fill layer. But before that, let's try some of the existing smart masks, mask that ships with the Substance 3D Painter, and maybe look for a AO, not AO, OCC for occlusion. All right, and drag and drop this occlusion into our mask. All right. That's definitely inverted. So select your mask editor here inside your black mask and hit global invert. That's not looking good, so delete that one and select the other. Invert that, and I don't like the look of that because if you go to this drop down, below everything you have your mesh maps baked, or just click B on your keyboard. So let's cycle through that, and here's our ambient occlusion, and that's not looking good. The white areas are the areas that gonna show my dirt or grunge or whatever I'm adding to the surface. So let's hit save first. Here, let me open up this log and put it maybe in other screen. So let's rebake the AO. This time, where is it? The texture set setting here. Open up the bake mesh maps. Here, deselect all, select ambient occlusion, and here let's change the self occlusion to only the same mesh name, and also let's make it smoother. So yeah, we are baking the occlusion again for monster cage. You have ability to apply this setting to all of your materials, so I'm not gonna do that. So just hit a bake for monster cage. All right. And as you can see, there's much better looking ambient occlusion. You have dirt inside the planks, between planks and ropes. So let's see the AO dirt now by hitting M or this drop down, choosing material, and it's really good now. So let's go to AO dirt, invert that, and yeah, dirt collecting in those areas. All right, now base color inside layer palette. Change the blending mode to multiply And if you go to base mesh or base material or your fill layer and make the color darker here, yeah, that might be enough. All right, and also, as you may remember, we have control over the height as well, and you can add height to those areas if you want. That's not good, so let's not do that. The overall material, it's not bad. I like that. So the only thing I don't like, it's this height value here. So let's go back to planks. This is height 1. So let's choose that height layer and open up the height mask. Select the ground. Add a paint layer from Magic Wand on top of the ground. Alright. Now let me switch to my tablets. Here. By default, if I choose the paint brush or hitting 1 on my keyboard, by default the paint value is set to white. We want that. Keep that. Alright, now let's choose a brush from our brushes, maybe something like this, and lower the size. Alright, and paint over those areas. I'm painting on height value so we can't see anything. Let me disable the height too. And carefully paint over the thickness. Alright. I'm changing the color as well on the fly because of this anchor point. So this height and this color 1 are connected. Alright, now let's see the height. Where is it? The height here. Right? Now let's change the blending mode for this paint layer to be subtract. Let's go back to material. And if I disable and enable the paint layer, as you can see, it's going to subtract this paint value out of our ground. So let's paint a little bit more. Or if you change your mind, you can hit X and make this value black. Now if I paint that, it's going to bring back some of the grunge. So let's randomly add some grunge and bring them back. Alright. Hit X again. Alright. Now, same deal for the height 2. Add that paint and just repeat that process. Set that to where is it? Subtract and paint over the height values. All right. And maybe drop the opacity a little bit for the paint value. All right. We might change this in the cleanup video. So for now, let's keep it that way. All right, now we're almost done with the cage. In the next video, we're going to, yeah, maybe add some material to these bars. All right, see ya. All right, let's go and make texture for the bars. So first of all, let me create a folder. Hold Shift and select all of these materials, put them in your folder, and let's call them cage. All right. Inside cage, on top of A or dirt, let's create another folder, maybe called bars. Why not? And same deal, let's create a mask. And where's it? The polygon fill and mesh fill. And let's select them, but this time let's hold Alt first and click on mask. Select them one by one. Also, we have 3 in back. Select them as well. And if you accidentally select the other part of the mesh, just hit X on your keyboard and select that on black color. So here. All right, switch back to our folder. And the bars are much simpler shapes. So if I'm not mistaken, let me create a fill layer. I made a boo-boo in UV time, and those are not in same direction. So let me find a maybe something like this wood, and drag and drop shape, white drag and drop. If you selecting the still selecting the material or fill layer, just hit click on material, SPSAR materials or base materials, and as you can see, yeah, those are not looking good. These top ones though, those are good. Yeah, those are clean, but the actual bars are, let me switch back to 2D view, and yeah, those are separated shells, and we need to use projection for bars. All right, so let's use first of all, delete this base color wood, yeah, American cherry. So let's create another fill layer inside bar. Let's call that why not height 0.1 for bars. All right, now I'm thinking about having folders instead of mask. So let me think. Creating a folder for this bars and for this top spiky things. Maybe, yep, that's not a bad idea. So create a folder and let's call that bars inside bars. And let's make the color, make the black mask, and choose only sparse. All right, now in here, let's add a black mask to the height, but before that, hold Alt, click on height, and add a little bit of positive height. All right, add a black mask and followed by a fill layer. Now let's go and find a nice looking grunge map. I need something more directional, something like this, I guess, but with a little bit of blur and a little bit of slope blur after that. Let's see. Drag and drop it in grayscale, and if I zoom out here, all right, zoom in and let's rotate that by 90 degrees and see. All right, now we have some UV seams, clearly. Some of them even have the wrong direction, rotated by 90 degrees. So for this one, let's use triplanar projection. And the gizmo is too big and in the wrong orientation. So let's align our camera to the bars and rotate. Here I'm looking at this green one and rotate to match the orientation of the cage. And for the here for this one, it's here. All right, that's not that bad looking. I'm not gonna bother to scale it down because we are repeating our texture. All right, let's make that tiled and reset this rotation 0. All right, not bad, except for this one, and I'm gonna average that out by rotating a little bit. All right, maybe 2 times tiling, it's better. And let's go back to our height controller, add a little bit more height for now to see what's happening here. And also we have even bigger problem for this back bars. Not sure we can duplicate the height or even a bars folder for the back, so not now. Let's make the bars completely for the front ones, and I'm gonna copy that for the back bars. So let's go to mask, hold Alt, click on mask and hit X and exclude these back bars for now. All right, let's continue. Select your mask, your grunge map, and after that add a filter on top of grunge. So let's select a blur. Yep, make it a little bit blurry. And another filter on top. And this time blur slope. And let's break the gradient that this blur makes. Alright, not bad. Yeah, It's good. All right, now let's add a color on top. Let's keep the color and roughness for this new fill layer. And this one is my base color. So let's change the name to the base color. And I'm gonna sample the color from darker areas on concept and roughness all the way. Yeah. All right, now hit duplicate and name that color 01. Let's choose a lighter color from concept, maybe a little bit lighter than that, and maybe a little bit more glassiness. Why not? Add a black mask, add a fill layer to that black mask, and click on grayscale. Look for your anchor point. We don't have anchor point because I forget to add anchor point. So let's go back to height. On top of blur, height inside bars. Blur slope, add a anchor point. And let's call that bars maybe 01. Let's go back to second color. Now we have our anchor point here. All right. Now let's go back to grunge map and change some of these settings. That's not good. Let me find another one. What about this one? Let's hold Alt, click on height, this height. And see the mask. No blur. And why am I affecting the whole thing? Let's see this mask. No, we are affecting only. Yeah, it can't see the bars only. Yeah, and change the colors. Change the height for that mask. So let's see that here. Maybe 5 times of repeat and 90-degree rotation. Less or more balance. Little bit of blur and slope. That's much better. All right, let me duplicate this height and call that height 02 and disable the or delete the bars anchor point, disable the blurs, and let's go to grunge map. We have the triplanar set for us, so let's work with that. I wanted something fibery, so yeah, let's use this one. And let me rotate the bonding box or gizmo a little bit. Not that much of a blur. And yeah, that's much better. All right, now Let's go and add another color. First of all, let's add a anchor point on top, height 02, bar 01. Let's call that bars 02. All right. Let's duplicate this color. Hit Ctrl D. Name that color 02, and inside fill layer, let's target the bar 2. And we need to change the color as well. So let's find a darker color for this layer. Yeah, that will do. So maybe a little bit more glassiness. Let's rotate the light a little bit. Yeah, that's not bad. But the base color though, let me change that to something maybe darker or lighter. Let me decide. Yeah, darker it is. All right. That's good. And yeah, that's good. Now let's hit duplicate on the bars folder. So Ctrl D, right click on your mask, and where is it? Clear the mask. And go back of the cage. Alt click on mask. Select these back bars. The direction is a little bit off as we expected. So let's go to heights, grunge, and rotate the grunge maps gizmo. So the next one, the top one, and yep, sets. All right, now let's call that back bars, and this one front bars. All right, there. Yeah, let's explain it nicely. All right, now let's hit duplicate one more time. Call this one Spikes. All right. Clear the mask. All right. Now let's hold Alt, click on mask, select this spike or top ones. I need to add, or I'm going to add the same materials. Why bother create another material? So, and the only thing we need to change is inside the where is it? The heights. So I'm not gonna change this anchor point name, because if I change that, it's going to break the connection. So let's call that bars. Why not? All right, let's go back to grunge, and this time change the projection to UV projection for both of them. All right, it's looking nice, except for some where is it, the roughness for second color. So let's drop that down a little bit. And as just like the planks inside the bars, let's go and grab yourself a HSL, put that on top, maybe make it a little bit lighter, only bars, so maybe saturate it. and maybe change the hue a little bit. Right, that's good. And on top of everything, let's go and borrow this AO dirt. So hit Control C, and here on top of the spikes, hit Control V. Right, let's go to dirt occlusion and add a little bit more dirt, less contrasty. And yep, that's good. Right, close that up. And let's go and close the cage up. Alright, in the next part, we're going to make material for the ropes. See ya. Now, let's make some rope. We have the base mesh for ropes, so first of all, let's add a folder called rope. Alright, now, okay, the black mask, it sets to mesh fill, that's what we want. So let's hold Alt, click on mask, and go to this angle, drag and drop, drag and select all the ropes. All right. Yeah, it's good. Inside the rope, let's create a base. Let's create a height, and let me go all the way down to the planks. Drag and drop this base height and base roughness out of all the folders. And if I close the cage folder, it's going to sit beneath everything. So we have our base, then cage, then another folder, and so on. So let's go to height. Alt click on height to keep just the height channel. Add a little bit of height positive value. All right. Now select the black mask, a fill layer. I'm gonna make the rope with a gradient. So yeah, this gradient a linear 2. It's good for us. Let's drag and drop it at the grayscale value. And if I tile that and add more height and enable the displacement for this particular reason, as you can see, we have something going on. First of all, let me rotate that by 90 degrees. And yeah, we have something, but because of UV shells bricks, they can't continue projecting on UV, as you can see here. Maybe let me disable the height, and let's see if I find the brick out. Yeah, here. It can't continue. Here and here we have UV seams. So what we can do is switching to another projection method. In this particular mesh, I believe we can use a cylindrical. So let me use cylindrical, and just like before, let's rotate the gizmo and position that roughly around the shape. Painter is saving. All right, done. Now let's make it smaller to have more control. And position that around the mesh. All right, now a little bit more. All right, now let's tile that even more. We maxed out on the grayscale linear gradient, so let's continue adding tile by adding tile to tiling option up here. All right, now we don't have that same problem, so just rotate the texture by, I'm guessing, the angle. So yeah, that's not bad. And if I enable the displacement now, we have ourselves a row pattern. All right, but it's a little bit off on these little ropes. So inside this rope, let's create another folder. Maybe, I don't know, var 01, variation 1. So let's drag and drop the height. Create a black mask and select these ropes for now. All right, now I'm gonna add the rope to the little ones separately. So let's work with this one for now. Go back to gradient. It's a little bit too much tiling, so let me find the best number, maybe 4. 4 is not that bad. Maybe a little bit more rotation. Yeah, something like that. Less. All right. And also less repeat. Yeah. That's good. Add more height. Right now we have ourselves a row base height. So it's nice. Now let's duplicate this height. And let's call that, I don't know, 02. Why not? All right, now select the gradient or fill layer to the mask, and let's find ourselves a something like fibery thing, directional, maybe this one. Drag and drop it. All right, it's nice. That is nice. Let's go to height base material, height 2, and change the height value, even negative. Yeah, something like that. And let's go to height above directional noise that we just added. Add a filter and look for warp here. It's gonna add some kind of warp by default, but we need to change the, it's working, but I'm not Happy with that. So let's go to source parameters first. Warp mode. Oh no, source parameters, source mode. Let's go and change the default noise to custom noise. All right. In here, input custom noise. Click and look for Perlin noise. All right. Let's change the Perlin noise parameters. A little bit more intensity and a scale of the Perlin noise is going to affect the noise behavior. So it's look like a fabric or something. All right, that's good. Let's see these height alone. So Alt, click on mask, and I guess that's good. All right, now let me see if I have something even more like a fiber pores or something. Let me go down. I believe we have a, let me think, I forget the name. Let me see. Something like down the list. Let's see if I can find it. Maybe this fiber is not that bad. So let's use that for now. All right, now hit duplicate on height 2, change that to height 0.3. All right, now the same height value, but different noise. I'm gonna delete the warp, or yeah, just hide the warp for now and replace this directional noise with messy fiber. Let's change some of the noise setting. Angle random, nah. Little bit more, and disorder, maybe, and balance a little bit. Color random, it is going to act as linear random. They're going to have a different linear value. Let me show you. Some of them darker, some of them lighter, and that's going to be nice at the low level. So let's add more and tile that more. All right, a little bit more angle variation or not. Let's use this same warp. All right, let's go to warp and noise parameters of Perlin noise. So let's scale that down or scale that up. Yeah, up. And have something like this. All right, not bad. Not bad at all. Now let's add some colors to this tree height that we just created. So first of all, add anchor point to the each height. So add anchor point for the first one. Let's see. Yeah. Rope 0.1. Let me copy that. And this one, add the anchor point, drop 0.2, another anchor point, 0.3. I forgot to change the name, so 0.2. Right, now let's go and add another fill layer, and let's call that base color. Alright, keep the color, alt click on color channel, and let me sample the color of the rope here, a darker color. It's not good, little bit lighter. Alright, duplicate that layer, let's call that color for height 0.1. So let's change this height name to 0.1 as well. Color 0.1 responding to height 0.1. So let's do this monster search. Oh, we don't need to delete that. We are using anchor point, so let's go and find the rope 0.1. Alright, let's change the color to something a little bit lighter. Alright, a little bit lighter. Let's reset that and use this V slider to make it a little bit lighter. Alright, that's good. Now hit Control D, change the name to color 0.2, and inside fill layer change the connection with anchor point to rope 2. Alright, now let's go and make it darker. A little bit darker. Alright, now we have some variation going on. Hit Control D, and that would be color 0.3. Change the connection to rope 0.3. Alright, now this one is lighter. Really lighter. Alright. Now we have some ropes. On top of everything, let's add O dirt. This time though, first of all, let's alt click on color. This time, let's go and add a generator instead of fill layer and using our AO baked. So this time, using generator, we can select ambient occlusion generator or curvature generator or even dirt generator. Alright, let's use ambient occlusion. Inside ambient occlusion, we have some settings. So first of all, let's use global and ambient occlusion. First of all, invert that. All right. Oh, I add the ambient occlusion inside variation folder. So dumb of me. So let's select that, add black mask, not yeah, black mask and generator and ambient occlusion. Yeah, that's right. Now global invert, change the balance here. Yep, not bad. And change the blending mode of base color to multiply. Yep. Repeat that process. Hit Ctrl D. Change this one to curve or curvature. Select your ambient occlusion and switch the generator to curvature. Change the blending mode to linear-add. Go back to curvature. And here we have some seams, and I guess that's because of the displacement or not. No, that's not. So we can use curvature with this UV arrangement, as you can see here. So let's delete that, select the mask, add a fill layer, and let's use curvature baked or best. Let's go down and find the curvature here, edge. Control C, let's go up, and here Control V, edge, yep, and change the color. Let's go to the level for that curvature baked. Change the level. All right, it's good. From distance, we have a good rope. Maybe the coloring is a little bit off, but I'm gonna solve that problem in Killing Up video. So let's add this rope to the other areas in the next video. All right, let's continue. If you don't want to see this mess of the height causing by displacement, using displacement for now, temporarily, so you can add a base color on top of the where is it, cage and other stuff. Change the height value of those to something less. Here. This is temporarily, so I'm not gonna do that. Now inside rope we have variation 1. Alright. Duplicate that. Call that variant 2. And Alt click on mask. Clear the mask. Select, for example, this one and this one, because those are in the same direction almost. Now let's see the result. We need to go back to height, each heights, and change the direction of our cylindrical projection to match the rope's direction. I'm not happy with the result. It kind of works for this one, but not so much for the others. So let's go to variation mask, exclude this 2, and include this one. Yeah, that's almost good. I don't want to do masking for all of them, so Looks like we have to do that. So let's rotate them all to match the direction. Create another variation. Variation 0, 3. And exclude this one. Include this too. Now let's go to rotation game and somewhere around here. I guess that's not that bad. So let's go for another one. Can see the actual gizmo. Alright, I guess that's almost good. And the third. Alright. I'm gonna hit Ctrl D on this one, less messy. Change that to 4. And clear mask. Choose this 2. Maybe this 4. And let's go to each height. Change the direction. Oh, first of all, change the base height. That's our reference. Not bad. We can't actually see this other part, so I'm gonna include that. And let's change this direction as well, roughly. Right, not that bad. Let me go to first one and include this too. Yeah, that will do. And this too, let me hit Ctrl D again. Call that var 5. Clear. Select this too and same deal. And I guess we only need to change that on this direction. Yep. All right, now last mask. Oh, not remove the mask. Clear mask. Where is it? Here. And just. Oh, I didn't duplicate, so hit Ctrl D. And 6. First of all, let me include them. No, that's not good. So clear this mask. include this too, not that one here. And let's change that back to not this direction and here. All right. Right, that's good. On top of every folder, every variation of rope, let's add another HSL filter. So drag and drop a HSL filter from asset browser and maybe make it a little bit darker, less vibrant, and also a little bit of change in hue. All right. Also, you can add a black mask. Select some of the ropes randomly and add this variation HSL to those rope only. So if I go to HSL and add more saturation, as you can see, we are affecting some of the ropes. And below that, we can add another one and change the others. And now we have a little bit of color variation into our ropes. Alright, now let's disable the displacement for now. Right. Yes, we are done with the whole cage. Some small tweaks left, and I'm gonna do them in cleanup. So not here, not now. In the next part, we're going to add texture to the monster inside the cage. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe let's do cleanups and here now. Yeah, maybe. Let's go to cage. Above planks, and let's add a base color. I'm just adding the color, so hold Alt and click on color. All right. Now a black mask and paint. Switch to paint or hit 1 on your keyboard. And let me sample a color. This fill layer. And select the paint and paint on some of the areas. For example, this thickness. Oh, Painter is saving again. All right. Let's see. Maybe leak this color to some areas here and there. Need a bit more. Also in the back. And this is a overall color, so we can drag and drop it on top of the bars as well, but yeah, let's not do that. So let's continue painting in different areas, but I can drag and drop it on top of the inner wood here. So let's paint the inner wood as well a little bit. Just adding some stain. And also leak that inside as well. All right, and one important thing is if I hold Alt and click on layer, I just painted this let me edit this places. All right, I just painted this brush strokes or added this brush strokes, and I can add another layer on top of the paint. Whatever, maybe a filter of blur, and affect that paint that I just created. Something like this. Let's go and see the result. If I drop the blur opacity, as you can see, it changes the paint. Or if I change the blur to something like slope blur, it's gonna add some character to the paint at the edge of the painting areas. And make it to be look like a cartoony stop motion look. See the difference? And also, we always have control over our height. As you can see, we are controlling the height in the painted areas. Maybe a little bit less slope blur. So drop the opacity or intensity to something like that. Or increase the divider to 100. 10 was good. And also, if you want to have more cartoony look or painting look, you can always add a the oil paint, matte FX oil paint on top of everything. So let me drag and drop that on top here and wait to process. And it's gonna change that to some brush painting, oil painting effect. That's looking really good by default. And also in here you have control over your stroke shapes, stroke angle, sharpen, effect intensity overall, and a fine detail and all of that good stuff. Also, you have a paper background that is enabled by default. If I zoom really closely, you can see the painting paper normal effects going on here. All right, I'm gonna delete that for now. I might add that for the final render. So for now, I guess we're good to go, except for this spikes thing. So let's go to cage, bars, and spikes. Yeah. Inside the spikes, we have heights. So let's drop this height 1. It's a little bit too much for this area. But we still need to have the color variation, so I'm not gonna delete that. Also for the bars, front bars, the height 0.1, little bit less. All right. And one more thing, you have control over your height and the folder level. So select your folder. Let me go to back bars here and rotate the light. All right. Select your folder. Switch the channel to height and just drop the height. It's gonna drop the whole height inside that folder. Oh, and there's one way to control your overall height. All right, that's good. In the next video, I'm gonna start making some texture for our monster. Where is our monster? Here, monster. Inside the cage. It's not the best looking monster. Let me show all and unisolate the monster only. At the middle of the sculpting, I changed my mind for the hands and made the hand separately, but we can't see that actually. It's inside. So, yep. I see you in next part.